Hi, welcome to Watcher DM. I'm Gabriel. Today I'm going to continue my look into the Tome of Adventure Design, revised edition by Matt Finch of Mythmere Games. And today we are looking into the missions section of Chapter 1. And that starts on page 28. The way that missions are organized in this game for creation is they have 4 different types of missions. So normally you would roll on one of these to generate a certain type. But we're actually going to try all 4 different types today, just to play around with the tables and see what kind of values we can come up with. That might be fun. So we're going to start with individual-based missions. So I'm going to mark here as ind. And just like last time, I'm going to be rolling the die and writing down the numbers. So we got a 33, followed by a 6. And we just look that up here real quick, and we get distract, decoy, or deceive. So distract, decoy, or deceive. And then 6 is agent or diplomat. All right, and then if we reverse them, right, we get 6 is bring message to location of, so deliver mail. And 33 is magic user. So deliver a message to a magic user. Interesting. This could be interesting, I think. Distract, deceive, or decoy, agent, or diplomat. But I think it would involve knowing a lot more about the politics of the region, because agent or diplomat obviously means there's some faction play going on. So we may hold off on using that one until we've got more faction information out. Bring message to location of magic users seems like a pretty actionable adventure. So, I think that's probably the one I would go with for that. Then we'll look at item-based, and we'll give those another roll. 76, and double on. Cool. So 76 is salvage from dangerous place. And double aught is a weapon. It says here, siege weapon, famous sword, etc. But I like the idea that the dangerous place, in this case, is caused by the presence of the weapon. So that could be a really, really interesting thing to do. And if we reverse it, we get swap fake imitation. And 76 is statue or idol. Very Indiana Jones there, I think. Swapping the idol with the bag of sand is pretty clever. But you could also imagine swapping maybe a statue or an idol from a temple with a fake. That could anger a god or certainly make you an enemy of the church if you were caught. Which could be really interesting adventure hooks there. The next table is the location-based missions table. So we're just going to mark that with lock. And we rolled another 76 and a 57. So 76, 57. And 76 on this table is reinforce. And 57 is oasis. Oh, interesting. Huh. Okay. And then what happens if we invert them? So this is locate intruder /spy. And 76 is in stockade, which I think is like a jail, right? So how would an intruder or a spy be in a jail? Maybe he's been arrested as like under false pretenses, like he was arrested for a petty crime, but he's actually a significant character and needs to be questioned, and the authorities don't know who he is, the party does. So that could be an interesting way to do that. Reinforce oasis could be extremely interesting. Oases tend to be a bastion of resources within a desert, and maybe an oasis has fallen under attack because somebody wants to own that resource for themselves, or maybe they want to destroy it. So that others cannot have the bounty of the oasis that is there. So yeah, a couple cool adventure ideas there. Let's roll on the event-based mission for our next one. Cocked die there. Let's try it again. So we got a 23. That's probably fine. And a 99. Very cool. So 23. Expose someone involved in. '99. Treason and aftermath. And then if we invert them, we get take leadership in. And 23, cattle drive through a dangerous area. Oh no. I'm getting ink all over my little fingies. Okay. Interesting. So those are some of the things you can roll on these 4 tables. One thing that we didn't roll this time that I wanted to call out is you would roll on table 1-8, patrons and targets, so get help from for these sections of this table. And this is a D1000 table, so we're going to go ahead and roll that. And to do that, we're going to add the black as our tens place. So that is 48. We rolled a 48 for our patron. So that's right here. It's going to be Anonymous Wretch. Now, in this case, I'm not super thrilled with that result. So if I were to invert the 48 on a D1000, that would be 840. So we're going to come back here to the 800s. And 840 is Sorcerer, Power in Hair. super interesting. So kind of like a Samson type, can't cut your hair character, which is cool. All kinds of stuff on this table. Really, really weird. And then we get our patron motivations, which we can roll for. And this will be 2 D100 rolls. So that's 68 and 08. So 68 is regain honor stolen by, and 8 is business partner. And then if we invert those, we get defeat, and 68 is political leader. Pretty cool. And then we'll roll for hooks, which is another 2D100 roll. And this is what motivates the characters to the players to choose this adventure, and how do the characters learn about the opportunity. I rolled a 37, followed by a 78. So 37, 78. 37 is gain hit points. Interesting. And 78 is potential employer has posted signs with some details. So we're just going to say signs. And then we invert this. Permit travel. Required documents, safe passage. Interesting. And then 37, a letter or message is sent to characters, so we'll just say letter. Okay, so we have rolled everything on this table, and we have, on the tables in this section, right? So the next section is Villain's Plan. So it looks like distract, decoy, or deceive agent or diplomat could work with permit travel letter and defeat political leader. So maybe like a regional king has sent a diplomat who's not on the level. He's actually an agent, maybe a spy that is hiding out in the stockades as a criminal once he's been exposed. Exposing that someone involved in the treason and the aftermath could work well with this kind of chain of adventure ideas. And in fact, I think maybe salvaging a dangerous weapon, like maybe a disaster occurred because a weapon went off, and that weapon was part of this plot to overthrow the political leader. And you've got to kind of counter that. And maybe it all starts with, in this oasis here, maybe. Or bring a message to location of a magic user. So maybe the rulers are magic users. So yeah, there could be some really fun stuff in here. I think there's a couple things that I would ignore. Like, I'm not really sure how gain hit points works as a motivation. But maybe that would work for your table. So this is how I would use the mission section to kind of generate ideas. And then once you've kind of got some of these ideas, you want to start refining them down. In the next video, we'll be doing the Villain's Plan section of the book and rolling up some villainous plans, which sounds like a lot of fun. If you want to support Watcher DM and my creating these videos, you can do so by going to watcherdm.com and joining our mailing list. You can subscribe to this channel if you want to see these videos as they come out. And yeah, if you've got information about how you would use this or how you like it or don't like it, post some comments or whatever. I'm happy to have some conversation there. And thank you so much for watching, and thank you for playing. Cheers.